Do you let a cold run its course without doing anything to make yourself feel better? So, if you would start to do something like sleep longer or take some vitamins, then why would it be any different for our period? Today, I want to debunk the myth with you that if you have a bad period with pain, then there's nothing you can do about it. Because the truth is, when you take control of the situation, you can actually improve your period with just a couple simple changes. Hello and welcome to Roots in Fertility. My name is Carly Schroeder. I'm a functional nutrition coach, personal trainer, yoga instructor, and your fertility coach. So many women think that they're having a painful, heavy, or irregular period is just something that they have to endure. It's like this passive acceptance. This belief leads to people actually ignoring symptoms and not seeking solutions. Now, unlike how we treat the common cold, where we actually take steps to proactively feel better, period problems are actually oftentimes neglected. So enduring unnecessary pain is not what we're here to do and accept as women. Because many women believe that painful periods are actually unavoidable in this life. And this belief has led to the resignation and lack of proactive measures. So my goal is to normalize and to create some awareness that pain isn't have to be and isn't normal during your period. This normalization and accepting that as truth has impact our well-being, and millions of women suffer with pain, debilitating pain, cramps, headache, nausea, all of the signs and symptoms when they're on their menstrual cycle. And it actually creates a negative relationship with this cycle that is so beautiful once we turn things around. So I want to talk a little bit about the limited education on hormones and how that leaves many women unaware of how to actually support their hormonal health. This gap in knowledge actually perpetuates the belief that the period problems are unchangeable. But when you start to understand how hormones work and how to support them, it can actually empower women to take control of their menstrual health. So I invite you to take that proactive measure. Just as you wouldn't let a cold linger, you don't have to put up with these problematic periods. Take action can be significant and improve your period symptoms and your overall well-being. There are simple changes you can take with your diet, like incorporating foods that support your hormonal health, such as leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and lean proteins. And in terms of exercise, regular physical activity can actually help regulate the hormones and reduce period pain. And in terms of supplements, you could consider taking supplements such as magnesium or omega-3 fatty acids and vitamin B6 to actually support hormonal balance. And stress management. Managing your stress and allowing yourself time to rest can actually help regulate your hormones as well. I have actually experienced this with one of my clients just this week. We started talking, and it was the first time in her entire life that she wasn't laid out on the floor, debilitated from period pain. Before, she would lose so much blood and was actually considered anemic because her cycle was so off sync. So she had learned to adopt this lifestyle as her new way of life. And once we started leaning in and starting to get her in sync with the woman's cycle of 28 days and starting to move her diet, her lifestyle, her exercise to be in sync with the woman's biological clock rather than a 24-hour push through it drive male clock, then she started to experience a decrease in her symptoms, more energy, more fulfillment, and now when she's on her menstrual cycle can be out and enjoying life. This is what I want to be able to create for you if you are struggling with your menstrual cycle and painful periods and cramps and headaches and all the things that are actually taking you out and using your precious free time to be sick time. When we address hormonal health through diet and exercise and lifestyle change, it actually supports the overall well-being. It's time to take control of your menstrual cycle and your menstrual health. And doctors around the world are actually recognizing that our menstrual cycle is actually that fifth vital sign, just like our temperature is, just like our blood pressure and our pulse is for us. So it's important not to ignore these signs and symptoms and act as if they don't play a role, but to actually lean in and start to ask questions so we can start to see a positive change. We need to first have the awareness so then we can start to take action and recognize that you can improve your period symptoms. It's actually the first step towards better health. So take proactive measures to support your hormonal health. It can lead to significant improvements in your mental state, your energy levels, and how you feel on a daily basis. When women start to understand that they're operating on a different cycle, you're operating on a 28-day cycle, or if your cycle is 35 days long, it really comes down to first understanding your own menstrual cycle. We can start to see, just like in nature, there's a time to plant, there's a time to grow, there's a time to harvest, and there's a time for rest. And women are much like the cycle of nature. We need not only just to be locked into the schedule of producing, but we need to actually allow ourselves time for rest and healing, especially right before our menstrual cycle begins. So here is my call and challenge for you. If you have never done this before, it's time to start to track your menstrual cycles so you can start to understand your 4 phases of your lifetime clock, so you can dive deep into understanding your body's energetic needs based not just on some woo-woo idea of energy, but actually supported by physiology, because our hormones are changing throughout the cycle. So once you can identify your cycle and start to understand your menstruation time, followed by, of course, your front end or the follicular phase, and this part of your cycle actually does vary and is impacted by your 24-hour biological clock of the things that you're doing every single day. And so that front end would be the most likely to change based on feelings of stress, based on your diet, based on your sleep disturbances, based on travel. And once you have that number and you understand your ovulatory phase and how to check your cervical mucus and how to track your temperatures, and which if you haven't already seen this video, then you're going to want to watch that. Then you're going to track the last part of your cycle, which is the luteal phase. And now, with this understanding, you first start to understand your woman's cycle. And you don't have to just experience intense pain. And then we can start to support your health, taking time to rest and really taking things off of your list the week before your menstrual cycle hits. This alone, decreasing stress and allowing your body to rest prior to your menstrual cycle, is going to start to help alleviate some of those symptoms. In addition, supplementation and eating right foods, we want to be fueling the body right before the menstrual cycle starts with carbohydrates that are going to bring you energy, that's going to fill and feed the microbiome in the way that we want to feed it. So you're thinking about your sweet potatoes and squashes and zucchini, these baked and good carbs that are also going to be feeding the gut the way we want to, rather than leaning into brownies and cookies. And we're going to start to actually eliminate the sugar, eliminate the processed food that is actually throwing the hormones out of whack. Then we take the time to rest and heal And so when we come out of that and we start producing high testosterone, we're ready to get back to work. So don't just assume that you need to experience a bad period. Don't assume there's nothing you can do to fix it. Because like I shared with you, these diet and lifestyle changes and behavioral changes will have a huge impact on your cycle and how you experience it. So I'm here to bring you education and relief, hopefully. If you have more questions about how to lean into this cycle, leave a comment below. And if you haven't already done this before, hit subscribe. It's a way to support me on this channel for free to you. And so all my work goes recognized and supported. So thank you so much for being here. Have a great day. Aloha.